Welcome to the Middle Ground. I'm your host, Ohio Divided. Here we dive into all things sports. Ohio State, Michigan, the Bengals, the Browns, the Reds, college football, the NFL, college hoops, Major League Baseball. And hey, we might even dip into a little NBA when things get spicy. If it's happening in the sports world, we're talking about it right here on the Middle Ground. Before we get rolling, make sure you please like, subscribe, follow, retweet, do all the things that help this show grow. We appreciate each and every one of you. Now, let's get to the show. It is Monday, December 29th, and we are back for another edition to talk Ohio State-Miami preview from an Ohio State perspective. And we got Stormin Norman joining the show tonight to talk about his picks, see what he likes for the 4-game slate that we have going on. Today, if you can tell, I'm feeling a hell of a lot better than what I was the last 2 days. Saturday, when Cam Underwood of State of the U, Miami collab show joined in, I felt like shit. Last night, spent a little bit of time talking about Kyle Whittingham to Michigan. I really felt like shit, but I think last night, over the course of the night, started to feel a little bit better. Woke up this morning, didn't feel 100%, but I think we're back on the mend and we're ready to get after it. And Wednesday's approaching quick. We got a big game in Arlington, Texas, the Cotton Bowl that Norm and I are going to preview. Norm, before we get into this, I know we didn't talk about discussing this at all, but Jeremiah Smith today came out with some interesting comments just about his decision to come to Ohio State over Miami and kind of everything that weighs in and just basically like his relationship that he has with a lot of the guys that are on Miami's roster and things. Did you get a chance to see his comments at all today?
No, fill me in. I didn't see him.
So basically whoever the reporter was asked him if Miami was worth a shit and playing in college football playoffs, basically if they were kind of at a more of a national level at the time that he had to make his high school decision on where he was going to go play ball, if he would have gone to Miami. And he said, yeah, if Miami was worth a shit back then, I probably would have committed to Miami. So I got roasted on Twitter today for it, and probably 3/4 of my tweets over the course of a day are automated and planned out. Like I usually queue up a whole bunch of shit, probably 8 to 10 tweets right away in the morning, like before I go to work or anything, just so like stuff is consistently getting posted out there. And I'll reply to things throughout the day and whatnot, but that's kind of my way to consistently get posts and content out there. But I saw this whenever I was eating lunch today at work, and I said something along the lines, and I got fried for it. Let me just read exactly what it was that I said. I said Ohio State has to win. If they don't, these portal rumors are going to come in hot and heavy. So with Hartline gone too, I said, is there any chance Jeremiah would stay in Columbus if there was a Buckeye loss? And I probably didn't word it the best. It definitely seemed like I was suggesting that it's either win or bust. If Ohio State wins, Jeremiah stays. If Ohio State loses, Jeremiah does not stay and he leaves. I probably didn't word it very well, and like I said, I typically queue this shit up, and I was just typing it really, really fast, didn't really read exactly what I said. I checked my phone like an hour later, and I was getting fucking roasted by Ohio State fans, basically calling me like a bait farmer, engagement farmer, tweeting, why would I even say something like that? And I agree with them. I probably should have thought about it a little, or read what the hell it was that I was saying before I actually hit post. But like my point was, with him saying that his heart is with Miami, if Miami was worth a shit, he would not be an Ohio State Buckeye today. But if Miami goes out and beats Ohio State in one of these top-tier games like Jeremiah Smith referenced today, you know damn well Miami's going to come tampering. Miami's going to come with the bags. The fan base is going to get extremely loud. Would Jeremiah do it? I doubt it. He's got a lot of really good things going at Ohio State, 2 really good seasons. He's probably a top 5 pick the way it is already today. Why is he going to risk going somewhere else that, by the way, doesn't have a Heisman winning quarterback or a Heisman Trophy finalist quarterback. And also, by the way, looking at rewriting the record books at Ohio State, a place that is filthy rich with wide receiver tradition and history. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all that? Obviously, I probably should have taken a look at what the hell it was that I was posting before I actually posted it. But, like, do I kind of, like, the conversation I'm getting at is there kind of a point there? Like, if Ohio State does lose, there's a world that could get loud. Or am I just an idiot?
I mean, I think the thing I'd say is, I mean, I feel like it got kind of loud last year even. I mean, there was a lot of talk with, Miami's coming after him hard, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's going to be any different this year, no matter Ohio State wins or loses.
But I feel like last year, the noise was more so Carnell.
I mean, for Miami specifically, I feel like it was Jeremiah. I mean,
well, yeah,
the person
Carnell,
leaving, like, that had any, like, I feel like tangible possibility was Carnell. But again, I think at the end of the day, like, the noise is going to be there because teams want to try to nab him and throw a bunch of money at him. But I think the thing, like, I think it kind of comes full circle with why he would have wanted to go to Miami in the first place. Like, it seems like to me, I'm not acting like I know Jeremiah, but he seems like a loyal guy. Like,
yeah,
he's a Florida guy, Miami guy. That's why he would go to Miami. Like, and now that he's at Ohio State, he's an Ohio State guy. He's going to be the best receiver in Ohio State history. Like, I feel like that means something to him. And to me, like, I think that's, like, my main reasoning for why I don't think there's any chance of it. Like, I think the speculation will come regardless, because at the end of the day, it's just like the NFL offseason. There's got to be something to write about, and there's going to be chatter because why not try? It's like, well, $5 million didn't work last year or whatever the reported number was. Let's see if he does it for 8 or 10 or whatever it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
But to me, like, he's so young that it's kind of funny to say I don't think money matters, but he's going to make good money at Ohio State. He's going to make great money in the NFL immediately. He's so good that he's going to be an endorsement deals guy, so it doesn't really even matter. Like Jeremiah Smith's going to be like Jordan Brand or Nike athlete. Like, I mean,
he was already on Nike commercial last year as a freshman, as a true freshman.
Right. Yeah. So to me, it's like guys like that are more about the brand, and the Jeremiah Smith brand, like, jumping teams doesn't really feel like the par for the course, especially, like, he seems like he's a huge Jordan guy too. Like, Jordan going to the Wizards was for fun. Like, he's in business mode. He ain't fucking around. Like, and it's college. Like, you're not changing teams in college. Like, I don't know. He seems to have the mindset of, like, I'm here. This is an elite team. I help this team be elite. This team helps me be elite. Like, I think the speculation will be there regardless. Like, but yeah, I mean, I don't foresee it. And then that's to say all of that to the second point being Julian Saint's back next year.
Yeah.
So, like, I just think all that together, like, I mean, I think it's a hypothetical thing that'll get talked about. So I think you're, like, probably a month ahead of when this is actually, or probably not quite a month, a couple weeks before, this chatter will keep going. But the reality of it, I mean, I think I'm taking the fan side on that.
Yeah,
I don't foresee it at all.
I don't blame him at all either. My whole point was, like, if Miami beats Ohio State, that will be an actual conversation. Miami fans will be posting that everywhere. Miami will 1,000% come for Jeremiah Smith. But I phrased it as, would Jeremiah leave? It wasn't like a take or anything. It was more so like, just, I'm going to throw a question out there. And I really didn't read the tweet very well before I actually hit send. But if Ohio State just goes out there and takes care of business, any chatter that comes from it is just going to be laughed off. If Ohio State goes out there and actually loses with the comments that he made today about how he would have gone to Miami originally, I think that you maybe not get some smoke about it, but it might be headlines for a couple days out of a week. Like when you talked about, like in the dead part of the season, there's nothing to talk about. You need headlines. People still need clicks at the end of the day. I still think it's something to make note of. Like people are still going to create a conversation about it. But if you win, it just instantly kills all of that immediately. I did laugh at you saying that JJ or Jeremiah seems a little bit like a Jordan guy. I wouldn't throw him out to Michigan out of the question then.
Because he's a Michael Jordan guy. Oh, because of the Jordan brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm completely
I don't know
fucking
if I
kidding.
go that far.
I'm completely fucking kidding. I thought you were going to catch on to that.
You're rage baiting me on live.
Yeah.
I'm getting in real time.
Have you heard Jeremiah's comments about them? He basically said, I fucking hate them.
Yeah. I mean, he's been saying that.
Oh, he will tell you that every chance that he can get. And and I love him for it. It's kind of like I saw like Myles Garrett's interview yesterday before the Browns game, and he was basically like, yeah, I'm going to go off today, or I'm going to show out today. And like I throw Jeremiah Smith in like that same level. Like when they say something like that, most guys I would probably clown him and be like, bro, you're giving yourself some bad fate here. You're probably going to put the clamps on you now that you said something like that. But whenever you just have like physical specimens that are like Myles Garrett and Jeremiah Smith, and they make a statement like that, you immediately believe them. Obviously, I know Myles Garrett didn't get the sack or anything yesterday. That's not the point. But when those dudes that are that good say something like that, and they are not scared to just talk their shit, I believe them.
I mean, on that topic, I think like Myles' comments after the game, I think were just straight facts.
I didn't hear what he said after the game. I saw his interview before the game, and he was like, I'm going to put on – he basically said, I'm going to put on a show. And I was like, anybody else, I would probably be like, I would laugh at you. But him, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to laugh at him because he is the guy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I think he ended with 3 TFLs yesterday still.
And like Rodgers is probably a quarterback, especially as he's gotten older in age too. He gets the ball out really, really, really fast. So he didn't. I saw like that very last drive. There was one play that was pretty damn close that he could have gotten in there. But like Rodgers just gets that thing out so quick. He was not ever going to even really give him a chance to get the sack or even like get close to him or anything. I didn't watch the whole game, but I mean it was. I tried to tune in right at the end after the Bengals game was done and everything. But it would have definitely been cool to see. I would assume he's definitely going to get it this Sunday. But before we really get into everything, Norm, do you put an asterisk next to that then?
No, I mean I think everybody's going to, but my kind of take on the matter is I just need Myles to get like 2.5 sacks this week, and you clear it by enough, people will kind of forget that a lot of those sacks happened in the last game of the year.
Yeah. Which he's had a pretty good history against the Bengals, so for him to go out and have even more than 2.5 sacks is not out of the question by any means.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing to be said with like his TFL numbers, like he not only like he has 32 tackles for loss too, so like he's just wrecking shit. Like. And that was basically his comments after the game was like their entire game plan was to stop me from getting the sack record, and how'd that work out? Yeah. Like they didn't try anything deep. They didn't do really anything long developing, which I get it. They didn't really have the receivers either. But, I mean.
Yeah, not having DK.
They didn't take any risks, and it burned them because, I mean, I get conditions weren't great, but, I mean, you have a veteran quarterback. I get he's old as fuck, but they didn't take any risks. I mean, they took risks plenty in the first matchup, and he didn't have any he didn't have any sacks in that game either. So, I mean, we can get to the Browns winning that game. I mean, I've talked myself back to not absolutely hating it. I think it was the first time I can remember that I was 1,000% rooting for a loss. I don't think I've ever done that as a fan. just because, I mean, when the Browns were really bad, they were already there. Like 0-16, the 1-15. Like we were so bad, there was no one really competing for the one pick. But I mean, at the end of the day, I've talked myself back around on it. It's like I've been a Stefanski guy. If this helps him stay and them not tear it all down, I'm fine with that. Like I think the terror. It's so funny how Browns fans react and how volatile they are. Like there were so many people yesterday that were like acting like Kevin Stefanski was doing a lot of different things during this game, which I didn't really agree with. They're acting like he was animated on the sidelines. I wouldn't
Like
really
what?
say that.
Just
Like he was
being
doing
more
the same shit
animated.
he would normally do, like yelling at a bad call. Like he had some additional ones, but I think just because it was a game that came down to the wire that was close the whole time. I mean,
But they were
like I
saying
feel
that he was being more like over the top and more dramatic and more animated than what he typically is.
yeah, and
Why?
I
Just
I didn't
like
really see
showing
that.
he just to like they were saying just to like show he cares and shit and wants to keep his job.
Yeah, and I think that's been something people get on him because he's the prototypical try to keep like he tries to play the cooler heads prevail,
Yeah.
mindset. Like he doesn't get too animated. Like his press conferences are cookie cutter, doesn't really say anything, basically takes accountability for everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's kind of the I'll take all the shield from the players, the other coaches, and then that's all you're going to get is me just taking the fall for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what's basically come from that is I think that's where Browns fans have kind of put the bullseye on him because he's been doing this the entire time he's here. Like that's been
Yeah.
5-6 years with Stefanski. He just takes the blame. So then they're like, okay, well, you want us to blame you, we will.
Well,
And
like
to me, it's like it's the man he's just falling on the sword while Andrew Berry gets to hide in the office and have like 2 press conferences a fucking year, and
I get
Haslam can talk
that.
to the media whenever he wants to, like, and D Podesta, who never had to talk to the media ever, like, or never get in front of the camera if he didn't want to,
Yeah.
and like D Podesta, like, I feel like I didn't hear much chatter about people hating him, like the chatter that was not allowed. Like people definitely had that sentiment, not acting like that wasn't happening. But once he leaves, then all the Browns fans are acting like, yeah, I mean, clearly he was the problem and all this shit. And it's like, I mean, we're just saying shit now to make ourselves feel better. Like him leaving, did that really hurt my feelings? No. But to act like he left, he was clearly the problem. I mean, sure. I mean, I think the real problem is the problem we talk about in Ohio sports across the board. And I just think Jimmy needs to keep his fat fingers out of the fucking football team and let his money do the
Take
job
care.
for him.
Yeah.
And
Let the football brains figure it out from there. You just provide the money and we'll take it from here. But not even just like Kevin Stefanski, but like head coaches are in just such a really bad position whenever it comes to press conferences and just like taking the blame for things because fan bases get so upset whenever they're just like, yep, I have to be better. I have to put our players in a better spot to be successful. I need to put together a better game plan. Like whatever that excuse might be, not really even an excuse, but basically them just taking the blame for an L. Like you would rather have that than them sitting there pointing the finger at another coach or especially a player. Like if he was out here doing that type of shit, I think people would be trying to run him out even quicker than what they are even right now. It's just the fact that they suck right now. He's under a microscope and they're paying attention to every little thing that he does. So he can walk the wrong way or chew his gum the wrong way, and there's always going to be a crowd that are pissed off because he's not winning right now. And that's just unfortunately the way it is. But taking everything on the chin, taking the blame for everything that's been wrong this year, last year, whatever it's been, like that's the 100% the best way to go about it. And I think every logical fan would agree with that. That's how they would like their head coach to be. But There's always going to be a crowd out there that hates whatever he says, no matter what it is. But no, I totally feel you on the front for like Andrew Berry just sitting in his office and like doesn't really have to speak to anything that's going on. And I feel like as a Bengals fan, I feel that even more. You don't hear from Duke Tobin other than a couple times a year. And the root of the issues with the Bengals right now falls on his hands, and it's his fucking drafting the past 3 to 4 years. So basically, I don't like Zach Taylor. I want him gone. But I also understand he's basically a mouthpiece for those idiots that are actually in the front office making a lot of these calls. And he has to, unfortunately, just be the one that gets up on the podium every single day, every single game, and take all the shit that the media is asking him, take all the hits for why aren't you winning, why aren't you getting back into the playoffs, all of that type of shit. So, yeah, I don't know. It would definitely be cool to see GMs. And I guess we can't even call Duke Tobin a GM. He's a director of football personnel. But it would be nice to see them get in the public a little bit more and get questioned about things that they're actually doing. Because who knows at the end of the day, if they're not paying attention to the media, they might not have a single fucking clue what the fan base is even thinking.
Right. And just to go back to the volatility thing with Browns fans, like Andrew Berry went from, everybody wanted him dead. Like the belief was like Kevin's good, 2-time coach of the year. He works with the little he's gotten. And Andrew Berry nails the draft, which I completely agree with. I loved the draft when it happened. I love it even more now.
That draft
obviously
saved him.
The minor details with, Gabriel. I mean, it's really Gabriel the only thing. Like, we all wanted a quarterback.
That was the only bad pick, I would say.
Yeah, we all wanted a quarterback, and they kind of got the guy we all wanted. But they drafted Shadur in the third, and no one's even talking about any of this. Like, the draft they nailed, like, whether Shadur is even the guy or not, it doesn't really matter. Like, worthy of a third-round pick because he plays okay. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't totally lost games for us either, like Gabriel was doing.
He at least makes it entertaining a little bit, though, too. Like, yeah, they might be losing and it might suck, but Dylan Gabriel was terrible to watch, dude. He wasn't throwing the ball more than, 8 yards down the field. He could barely even execute that. And, Shadur, you have the baggage that comes with him. He's going to get you in the media spotlight and everything. But the dude can, play a little bit. I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback, going to be a starter of the future for the Browns or anything. But, the dude has some talent. You can clearly see it. And he's gone off a couple games for the Browns this year. He, at minimum, gives you a reason to watch and enjoy a 3-win season where you're at right now.
Yeah, because, the big difference with him versus Gabriel is Gabriel was consistent, but he wasn't very good, so being consistent sucks.
Being consistently bad isn't a solution.
Yeah, it's not a solution. Shadur will have some absolutely awful plays. Like the interception yesterday. My God. He threw a ball 20 feet in the air that floated, and the defender had time to run over the ball, fair catch it, and intercept it. It was awful. But he made some great QB avoidance plays, extend plays, 20-yard pass. He made some plays like that too. So it's he has the ability to make some of these top tier plays, and I'm not even sold. I'm not sold that Shador's the guy. I'm probably against that, but he's at least something. He throws the ball downfield, and that simply in itself, the Browns have been more competitive offensively, all because of that. And that's the funny part too, is because a lot of the Tommy Rees play calling change was close to the Shador change as well. So it's there's an argument to be made that there's people that are trying to say Tommy Rees has opened up the offense. And it's I think he helped. I think him taking the next step in his career to call plays was something I think the Browns always wanted anyway. So, I think all these things for the Browns are also kind of speaking to, I do think they are going to run it back. Because the thing is, I think when you love your coordinators that much, because they love Jim Schwartz, and I think they kind of think Tommy Rees is the chosen one for young guy. Like you're gonna fire your coach or GM and keep the coordinators. What coach you're gonna get that wants to do that?
Yeah, yeah. A new head coach is going to come in and want his own guys in there.
Yeah. So I think the writing's been on the wall for this. I think Browns fans, after the win yesterday, I think they kind of realized that, um, because it felt like, okay, we might have ruined Pittsburgh's season. Like, okay, like there is something about that that's like
You'll take
they
that.
had everything to play for. They could have rested everybody. They could have rested their 40-year-old quarterback in Week 18 and had the Ravens game be meaningless
Yeah.
if they just beat us. And they didn't. And the Browns have a win streak against Pittsburgh at home. Everybody loves the Steelers' home win streak
Isn't
against the
it like
Browns.
5 in a row or something?
I don't know if it's that high, but I think it's 4.
Yeah, that's crazy. Especially
But yeah, I
because
mean,
the last 2 years the Browns haven't been very good.
yep. I was in the seats for last year's. That was the Snow Globe game with Jameis
Jameis diving
on
into the
Thursday
end zone,
night.
right? When he
Mm-hmm.
got his shit
Electric
rocked and then
game.
his fucking headset shit was coming out of his helmet. Yeah, I remember that
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
So
know.
I
It's
say
it's
that to
AFC
say,
North football. It's a physical brand of football, so I feel like anybody can beat anybody any given Sunday when it comes down to it.
Mhm.
But we'll get into more, I'm sure, NFL draft talk and just, well, both of us kind of only have the draft to look forward to here in the coming weeks and everything. Obviously, we'll have a ton of shit to talk about here the next, I don't know, month or so with college football and that. But yeah, draft's coming up, and the Bengals and Browns are right where they typically are. We're talking about who we're going to take, and not even to January yet. So just another year in the state of Ohio. All right, let's get into the Ohio State-Miami matchup, Norm. I have given my opinion on this a couple times now. I had about an hour and a half long episode with a pretty well-known Miami. He's like a managing editor for a company that does a lot of content and things for Miami football. It was a really good conversation that I had with him and everything. So I don't want to bore you guys to death, basically saying the same things that I said there. Obviously, my message has been clear like this entire week or since I've been posting about it the past few weeks. Like, come out with an aggressive game plan. Get the ball to your playmakers, test them vertically, have creative play calling, like do what you're good at. And that is athletes in space, that is your wide receivers, that is your ability to have Ryan Day as a play caller and to dial shit up that is extremely hard to stop. Like, that's what you're good at, so go do it. Don't get into a rock fight. Don't get into this play it down the field that Miami probably wants to play because it's been well documented. Miami has probably the advantage in the trenches, at least especially I would say on the defensive line against Ohio State's offensive line. I don't know if it's as big of a gap as what people act like it is, but I would definitely give Miami the edge. And then their offensive line is very good as well. That's been, from a high level, kind of my opinion going into it. I think that if Ohio State is aggressive in their play calling, I think that if they are mixing things up, like throwing early to set up the run late, I don't think there's a team in college football that can beat them. But we have seen them at times stray away from that. We've seen them kind of go complacent at times, and my only ask is don't do that. I want to go down swinging. Where's your thoughts at, Norm?
Yeah, I mean a lot of the same things. Not to go back to the Indiana game, but a lot of the same themes of that game was the Michigan game, right? Like short yardage.
Yeah.
Why are we taking off Jeremiah? Why are we taking off Carnell Tate? And I think that's the way this game has to be viewed too. I mean, if it's going to be a trenches game, where you may be having some deficits there, which maybe is that something we're overlooking Indiana's D line or something like that. But well, we've been humbled now. There's no reason to try to play a game like that. Like, use the whole field. You got studs on the outside, quick passes. Like, normally I'm not a screens guy, but this feels like we should be running a lot of screens, to be honest.
Mix it in. Yeah, I
Because
agree.
even early in the game too, because you kind of set back.
Yeah.
That pass rush they have, they can't just pull their ears back and do it because
Yep.
JJ is going to bust one for 15 yards or something. So I mean, it's a lot of what you're saying. Get your playmakers the ball in space. I mean, another one, Bo Jackson. I mean,
Receiving yards.
we talked about it. Yep, we talked about it. I think with the Michigan game, and how that reminded me of kind of the Travion in the playoffs last year, where it's something we talked about, personally, about how can we fucking pass him the ball? Like, he runs a great route, and he's good at that. Can we just pass him the ball? When playoff happens, all of a sudden Travion's a huge feature in the pass game. Bo's like, he's not Travion, obviously, but he's shown that he can do it. And I think that's something that I think Ohio State fans almost kind of assumed he couldn't, because there was almost like such a lack of use of him in the pass game early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the fact that we've seen him featured a little bit, I think he's kind of, I mean, if we're putting an X factor, if I'm putting an X factor, I think it's Bo, because I think him in the pass game, he takes the middle of the field. I mean, maybe if you want to put a little slash, maybe it's a Bo Jackson tight end group, because if we're hitting some things in the middle of the field, this game's over.
Yep.
Because there's no way they're hanging on the outsides with JJ and Tate if there's any type of presence in the middle of the field. And I think that's something that didn't get established against Indiana. And I think the middle of the field is kind of how this team needs to operate, because they go inside out. And I think that's something that just opens it up to make so much easier for Tate or Smith. Does that mean they can't go outside, inside, and then they're really dominating? No. I mean, Jeremiah on the outside, Tate on the outside, they can win even when they're ready for it. But I just think for easing the offense, I think the middle of the field is where this game is going to be won on the offensive side for us. And I think that kind of goes to the run game too. Because the thing is, I feel like Fletcher is getting all this talk right now. I mean, obviously he had an amazing game against A&M. But I mean, if
I don't
you're
know
looking,
if I've heard Bo Jackson's name once. I
know. Like, how is he not talked about? Like, I'm just looking at the side-by-side stats and all this. Bo Jackson is blowing Fletcher out of the water.
And he's probably played significantly
teams,
less, too.
Their carries are actually similar because Fletcher missed some games, which is maybe something I'm like, maybe this is part of where maybe Fletcher's healthy. Like, I'm not trying to shit on him by any means, because, I mean, he played great. I watched the whole game, and he won him the game. I mean, plain and simple. But, I mean, when I'm just looking at game logs, I'm not saying I'm watching Miami every game. Like, I remember Fletcher being on the team, one of those things, but I wasn't remembering making much of a difference until this A&M game. So, like, obviously I'm more in tune with Ohio State, and Bo made a lot of impacts on a lot of different games. But to me, like, I think everyone's kind of giving the check there. But, I mean, if we're doing – like, I'm kind of viewing this game like this, and I guess this is kind of where I'll jump to what I think happens. If we're just going position by position, right, how many positions does Ohio State lose in this game?
As in, like, if you match them up against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I would
not
say
offense versus defense, but offense versus offense, defense versus defense.
I mean, our receivers against their DBs, taking Ohio State.
No, I'm even saying our receivers, their receivers, our running backs, their running back, quarterback versus quarterback.
Yeah.
And then same thing on defense.
Yeah.
Edge versus edge.
So, yeah, let's start on the defense. I'm taking Ohio State's corners. I'm taking Ohio State's safeties. I'm taking Ohio State's linebackers for sure. Those three groups. Their defensive line, I would say you probably have to give them the upper hand, especially at DN. D-tackle, I think a argument could be made because Caden McDonald is an absolute stud.
I think D-tackle is us.
I think it could be too. Justin Scott is pretty damn good, but
yeah. Takes the unit up that level where, like, he's elite.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would.
But
Okay, let's say 4 out of those 5 position groups, we're giving 4 of them to Ohio State. Now let's do offense.
Well, just to throw in too, like if you want to play the pass rusher versus defense, like if we're counting it as like edge pass rusher versus defensive end, you're kind of putting Arvell Reese in that, and it's like I'm taking like I know Bain's great and Mesidor's been good, but I mean I know it's 1 versus 2 there, but Arvell Reese is definitely the best out of those 3 guys. And I know he's not a true edge, but if we're just talking pass rushers, I mean, we got him and Cade Curry versus Mesidor and Ruben Bain. So it's like I feel like there's even an argument to be made there.
Yeah. So or like the Miami guy that came on the show the other day, him and I actually got into that conversation, and like I was basically saying that I feel like Arvell Reese has been used a lot as a spy recently down the stretch. Like you had like the Michigan game, Bryce Underwood, like he was a spy against Fernando Mendoza against Indiana. They played a whole bunch of shit before that. Whatever it might be, if there's a at least decent chance of a mobile quarterback on a solid team, he was typically a QB spy. I don't think that Carson Beck's legs scare you near as much as like Mendoza or Underwood. Obviously, Mendoza doesn't take your breath away, but I think he was athletic enough to make it kill you if you didn't account for him.
He's a sneaky athlete for sure.
Yeah. So I was like, I think that this might be the first time in a really long time where they just line Arvell up on the edge like you saw against like Texas and just say, go get Arch. Because he hasn't really been in a position to get that. Where you've seen, and it doesn't always show up on the stat sheet either. Like I love the people that pull his stats from the past few games and like he hasn't done anything. Watch him whenever he is a quarterback spy. The quarterback starts scrambling and his speed is absolutely insane. I think his speed is his best quality. Like he is getting to the quarterback quickly and making them like throw it away. And he might not even get like a pressure or a hit or whatever it might show up. If you're pulling ESPN stats, they don't show that type of shit. They're showing like tackles, assists, and sacks. They're not showing pressures, hurries, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, it maybe hasn't shown up in the stat sheet, but he's affecting the game. And if you can sit down and watch a game, you can still see number 8 is out there causing havoc. And I think this is a game where he doesn't have to sit there and be a quarterback spy the whole time. I know that their left tackle is really good. He's like 6'9", but can he move fast enough to get to the
like a Patricia defense, like it may not even be the tackle if they're not prepared for like a some type of blitz setup that he's having or whatever. Like I just think that the creativity of Patricia, that's just as good of a factor with utilizing Reese than anything.
Yeah, and if you didn't see the Jeremiah comments today, I definitely especially assume you didn't see the Matt Patricia comments today.
No.
They were basically talking to him about his game plan, and he just like kind of started chuckling and was like, yeah, we've got some things, and like we have some shit we haven't shown yet that I have planned to roll out. And he kind of like grinned and smirked whenever he said it, and I was like, oh boy, I cannot.
That to me screams over Reese. Like I think we're Like, I think I'd be shocked if Arvell Reese doesn't have a sack.
Like, do you remember that sack against Texas? I forget what they call it, like a coffee stunt, where he lined up, like there was an end. He was lined up, like probably in between like the guard and the tackle, and then either Kenyatta or Caden Curry were still outside of him. Where he, right at the snap of the ball, he like turned his hips like he was dropping back into coverage, held like half a second, and then like stunted back inside and just went and smoked Arch Manning. Like I could see that type of stuff getting pulled out again because you haven't seen any of that since the Texas game. And I think Matt Patricia went in like thinking Arch Manning's really good. They have Ryan Wingo. This is probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country on August 30th when they first played. So you saw some of that creativity and some of that type of stuff back then. I think that you're going to see a lot of that again today. I feel like they've kind of kept it pretty vanilla for the most part since that game because there hasn't really been a team that has the athletes or the quarterback that maybe you were scared of. Like, obviously, game one, you were pretty worried about Arch Manning and Ryan Wingo. Like, Arch Manning was some people's Heisman favorites at that point in time. And, like, the teams they played since then, I mean, he's done some things that have, I'm sure, that are exotic, that have confused the other team's quarterback, like that type of thing. But I don't think he's dialed up things like he did in that Texas game. I think you're going to see a lot of what you saw in that Texas game, if not a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest thing from like a schematic standpoint. I think the offense is going to be keeping it simple. Defense, I think it's going to be the creativity that for me is really going to be what's going to cause problems.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up some of these lines here. So as I'm getting this up, obviously the spread's 9.5, favored Ohio State. Let's just talk about the over-under as well. I think that's 42.5. What would you take between those two spreads? I honestly think, now that like we've talked through this and things, I think I would take Ohio State minus 9.5. I've listened to a lot of national shows, and everybody's all over Miami. Like everybody is acting like 9.5 is an absolute lock. And it's been basically 9.5 once the spread came out. So the line hasn't really moved a whole lot since it's come out, which goes to tell me there's a crowd of people out there that really do like Ohio State as well. I think that with everything we just talked about on the defensive side of the ball, Matt Patricia's game plan that he's going to pull out and he's going to throw at them, and then I trust Ryan Day to come out with that lethal offensive game plan that we're all used to seeing and that we saw last year in the playoffs. And I think Ohio State, I said the other day, probably something like 20-13. I don't know. I could see it honestly being something like 27-10, like something like that. So I would take obviously Ohio State minus 9.5, and then I would probably take the under, just because I don't know if I can trust Miami to score enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely on Ohio State spread for sure. I think it's all the things we've talked about. Like, I think they're just better, plain and simple. And I mean, we can talk about offense versus defense, defense versus offense, offense versus offense, defense versus defense. I think we can shake it anyway. I think Ohio State wins this by 10. I mean, clearly 10 at least I'm taking them, but I think it's more going to be like 14, 17. And a part of me kind of feels like it's going to be the over, more so just because the total's low. Like, both the defenses are good. It's almost like my brain's like the defenses are good, but let's say Ohio State scores 30 points.
Yeah.
Like, they score 30 points, and I could see that. All it takes is a couple JJ really explosive plays, and we see this game being 30-10 or 30-17 or something like that pretty quick. Which, I mean, I guess 30-10 doesn't get there, but you know what I mean. Like, and I feel like. I mean, I think it would just be me going Ohio State all the way and just maybe going Ohio State team total over versus the game over. I don't know what that number is, but to me, what do we got? I mean, this is probably going to feel free.
25.5.
Yeah, I mean, not as I thought it was going to be like 20, which I guess it makes sense with all the numbers and where they're at. But
that's a good line, I think.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good line. But again, still think I'm going over because I think 27 or 30 feels kind of like where they end up at, if not more.
I'm not going to take it, but if you put a gun to my head, I would probably take the over. I know there's a bad taste in our mouth with everything we just saw against Indiana and things, but I still think that was a very vanilla game plan. They did a lot of really dumb things. It was very similar to 2024 Michigan, and I trust Ryan Day to come out and put together a hell of a game plan. Like, a year ago when they were going in to go play Tennessee, we were talking about all these same things. They're better in the trenches. How are you going to stop James Pierce Jr.? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? How are you going to score on them? And they won like 42-10 or whatever it was. So, I mean, I'm not expecting that to happen, but I think there's a better likelihood of that happening than what we saw against Indiana happening.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, it's a winner take home game, and I think it's just Ohio State's been playing with their food a little bit. Like, I can't really speak to the game plan there. I mean, it's kind of indefensible, but I mean, it is what it is. Not much else I can say about it.
So with that being said, Ohio State's 25.5. Miami is 15.5. So even the books are kind of favoriting that 9.5 spread here. Whenever you look at the team totals, I feel like that's a decent line. That's a pretty good line. I could see this game I don't know, that both those totals. I could see 25-15, somewhere in there. Obviously, you're not going to get that in a football game final score, but something around there. So, yeah, I mean, the spread and everything might be pretty spot on. The total's actually 41.5 now. That dropped. Any last remarks on Ohio State before we move on to the other three, Norm?
Just win.
Just win, baby. Win, baby, win. All right, let's move on to the next one. The noon game. Texas Tech versus Oregon, which is absolutely crazy considering all the folks in Oregon are going to have to wake up and watch this game at 9 a.m. That kind of sucks. But it is what it is. Football's on TV, and I'm going to be watching. I ain't waking up at 9 watching no fucking football game. It'll be noon for me, so I do not care. Oregon versus Texas Tech. Oregon favored by 2.5. The over-under is set at 51.5. I think for myself personally, I really like Oregon here. I think Oregon's offense is as good as any other offense and can play with anybody in the country. I think Dante Moore is a legit-ass quarterback, good as hell, worthy of a top 5 pick, I think, in the NFL draft. I think they have really good playmakers. Not really any questions for me, at least on the offensive side. Defensive side of the ball, obviously, there's a little bit of concern. They let up 500 yards to JMU, let up 34 points. Yeah, they let up those yards. They let up those points. But at the end of the day, they were up 34-0 or 7 or 34 to a lot at one point in time. So I always kind of factor in, how much did they care? I'm sure they were rotating a lot at that point. Game was out of reach. You probably had a lot of backups in. So that's why I'm taking Oregon. I don't know a ton about Texas Tech, to be completely honest. I haven't really sat down, probably like a lot of other people, and watched them yet this year. I know that their defense is for real. Their defense on every metric that you look at is towards the top in college football. But the offense I know nothing about. The quarterback, I would probably rank him at the lower end of all the quarterbacks that are still available in the college football playoff. And that's not me saying that I think he sucks. That's me saying I don't know anything about him and I haven't heard anything about the guy. But that's kind of where my thoughts are at, Norm. Where's your head at with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is – the spread says it. I think this is the best game of the day just in terms of the best matchup. I think it's kind of a best-on-best situation. Oregon's got one of the best offenses left, and Texas Tech has arguably the best defense, with Ohio State or Indiana. They're up there in that level. To me, I think when those type of situations happen, I feel like it kind of indicates some big plays, maybe a lot of turnovers. So I think I kind of like the over, as much as that's kind of weird with a great defense. But I do think there was still some Oregon falls on the defense. Obviously, I think some of it was just lack of focus at the end. If you look at the drives as the game went on, JMU was kind of driving the ball even before. The game kind of got out of hand.
Yeah, they were.
The
quarterback was kind of nasty. I can't lie.
Yeah, because just to break down kind of their yardage, JMU's. Let's say their first couple drives, 15 plays, 63 yards, 10 plays, 53, 3 in a punt, 6 in a punt, 7 in a punt, 9 in a field goal, 6 in a touchdown, 3 in a punt, 3 in a punt, 3 in a punt, 4 in a touchdown, 9 in a touchdown, 9 in a touchdown. So, that's their drives for the whole game. So, they kind of just had a lull in the middle, and that's when Oregon really stepped on the gas pedal. and went up. But I mean, they were moving the ball a little bit. I mean, the yards. I mean, they had over 50 yards. I think on 7 drives. I mean, so I mean, and if we're just taking away their last couple drives, they had their first drive was 63 yards. Their second drive was 53 yards. Then they had the 3-and-out punt. They had 21 yards, 31 yards, and then 33 yards. So it's like they're getting first downs. They're moving the ball a little bit. There's a little bend don't break with Oregon's defense. I mean, I think Texas Tech just got better weapons, to be quite honest. I mean, it's Texas Tech versus JMU. Texas Tech's poured it on some teams this year. I mean, I think they can score. So to me, this kind of feels like we're being over. I also like Oregon for all the reasons you said, but I think this one comes down to the wire. I mean, and I'm not taking Oregon with a lot of confidence because I think this Tech team has kind of like all the things you look for, and kind of like not calling them a Cinderella story, but kind of a team. They got the stud defenders, and Rodriguez and Bailey, and then an offensive side like stud running back and Dickey. Morton's been like rock solid in terms of not turning the ball over. And then they have some big targets in the receivers. So I think they can definitely score in Oregon. Like I said, I think that's to say this game's going to be awesome. And it's kind of what we were bitching about last week. This game not being the night game sucks, but this is what we call the SEC bias. But yeah, I think this game's going to rock. I will definitely be tapped in. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be the most entertaining game out of all of them.
Yeah, I think so too. I really like the overtake as well. I think, like you said, I don't know much about Texas Tech, but I think it's safe to say they're going to have a better offense than what JMU had. So definitely at least going to be able to move the ball. If they can put it in the end zone, then yeah, that over feels pretty free because I feel pretty confident in Oregon at least scoring 25-30. And I feel like Texas Tech, if they can finish drives, they can probably be right around in that same area, 25-30, which would put you right in that 50-60 range if they both end up there. So that would give you the over. 4:00 game, the Rose Bowl, Alabama versus Indiana. Indiana favored by 7 points. Over under is set at 48.5. I went back and forth a little bit on this one, and I've come to the conclusion I think I'm going to ride with Indiana. And the reason that I say that is we've seen Alabama look as good as anybody at different times this season, but they're not consistent. And when I factor in that they aren't consistent, they haven't been consistent in damn near a month. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of that Alabama-Oklahoma game last week because I was going to that fight and whatnot. But Alabama I don't trust them to put a really good game plan together. I don't trust them to go out and execute a game plan. Just their inability to also run the ball and make themselves kind of one-dimensional. I would expect Ohio State's offensive line is probably better than Indiana's or than Alabama's. So I would still take that as I think Indiana would probably be able to give Alabama similar issues than what they gave Ohio State as well. And really, to me, when it comes down to just inconsistency that comes with the team, if there's one thing to basically one word to describe Indiana, I think consistent would be a good word to describe them. They are very well coached. They tackle very well. They're very efficient. They're just consistent in everything that you do. When you hear talking heads like Nick Saban and Urban Meyer rave about how well coached they are, how great of a coach Curt Cignetti is, I'm going to take all the facts of what I know and what I feel more comfortable about if I'm laying money on this. So give me Indiana -7, and the over/under. I really don't know about. I want to hear your take on just this game in general, and maybe you can talk me into one way or another.
Yeah, we've been in fucking lockstep so far. I think the entire week, I was kind of thinking about 7 feels like a lot for an Alabama team. Blah blah blah. And then the more I think about it, it's like I think I just need to we as a people just need to start respecting Indiana. Like as much
Yep,
as us Ohio State fans are bitching about how the Ohio State game went, part of it was Indiana making plays as well.
they're good.
And and to me, like Alabama's defense would have to play incredible for them to win this game. Because I think Indiana, they're way too one-sided on the offensive side for them to do like anything against Indiana. Like we would need to see Ryan Williams resurgence and Bama to be able to run the ball at all, and to get both of those in one game feels like a miracle that I don't think we're going to see. So it would have to be a huge defensive game. I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get the defensive effort they need to stay in it. Like I think this is going to probably like the fun first half tie bets. This could be one of those. But it feels like the longer this game goes on, the more tired Alabama's defense gets. Indiana steps on it. So to me, I think Indiana probably wins this, by 10. Might be a late score to kind of put the stamp on it. But to me, this feels like it's going to be 24-14, 24-16, something in that. So to me, I think this is Indiana in the under. So that's kind of where I'm leaning on the total side. Like for Bama to win this game, like it would have to be Ty Simpson plays himself into first round pick good, or defense has to play like legendary status game. Like it would need to be something incredible to knock off Indiana. Like, and I think everybody just wants to be like, it's Indiana. You're getting Alabama +7 against Indiana. And at the end of the day, I think that's why Indiana might just be fucking free, man. Like, you're telling me a team that's like the 10th best team in the country is playing the team that has deservedly become the number one team in the country. Like, in any other playoff, this team would be like, Indiana would be favored. If the names on the jerseys were different, Indiana would probably be favored by like 12.5.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alabama hasn't been good the past, basically from November on. They have not been great. They barely got in the playoff. They started off down 17-0 against Oklahoma. Obviously, they came back and won and everything, but they have not been playing very good football. And at the end of the day, can I please make a public service announcement just to the entire world? Can we please just stop doubting Indiana? I don't want to continue to give them this chip on their shoulder like we're the misfits, like nobody wanted us, we all came together, and we're just going to continue to smack you in the mouth because you keep doubting us. Like, I think it is time everybody acknowledges the fact Kurt Cignetti might be the best coach in college football with what he's done and how he's turned everything around. Indiana might just be the best team in college football as well. So I'm right there with you. I think Indiana's legit. They deserve all the respect that's coming that is coming their way and more of what should be coming their way. But yeah, I think that this will be a good one, and I think Indiana's probably going to be in the semifinal for obviously the first time in their school's history and everything. So I had one other thought I think I was going to say just about Indiana and everything. Oh yeah. At the same point, I've been seeing people talk about this as well. Like, I see people continue to say, like, the talent gap has to basically come up at some point. Like, they're going to have to, at some point in time, run into a team who's just more talented than them, and they're just going to put it all together. Yes, Alabama is definitely more talented when you consider, like, a blue chip ratio and look at it from that type of that lens. But I think Indiana is just that much better coached. Like, I think it's going to take, like, a team like an Ohio State who is a lot more talented than them, and they're also coached basically pretty close to the same level as what Indiana's players are coached. Because I think that is the biggest thing of anything. They are coached so damn well and so disciplined and so consistent and so efficient in everything that they do. And they got a dog in Fernando Mendoza that it might not always look pretty, but whenever you need it, he's got it. And I think that that's enough for them to continue on in the playoff, send Alabama packing home. And in what fucking world did we ever think 2 years ago Indiana would be sending Alabama packing?
Yeah. And I mean, I think to the counter to we're talking the blue chips. I think maybe we just need to acknowledge that Indiana is just extremely deep. Because if you look at their playmakers, like they have 5 guys over 300 yards receiving. They have 5 guys over 200 yards rushing. Obviously, Mendoza, elite quarterback play. Defensively, they have 5 guys with 5 or more sacks. They have 4 guys with 60 or more tackles. Like to me, it almost just screams that this team is really deep, and football has too many positions to kind of get caught up in the blue chip thing if the blue chip thing isn't deep too. And I think that's kind of where the thing that I'm kind of coming to as like this is how Indiana's doing it. They're just extremely deep. They don't beat themselves, and that in itself makes them a good team.
Right there with you. On to the last game, the 8 o'clock game, 8 o'clock kick. This is the Sugar Bowl, correct?
It is the Sugar Bowl.
It is the Sugar Bowl. We have Ole Miss versus Georgia. Georgia favored by a touchdown at 6.5. Over-under is set at 55.5. And I would say, along with everybody else, I'm going to take Georgia. I think Ole Miss is behind the 8 ball, not having their head coach there. They still impressed me last week against Tulane. They went out and boat raced them, did what they needed to. But at the end of the day, it's still Tulane, and they're Ole Miss. So that's exactly what they should do. I think Georgia, enough people are not talking about them right now. I think that SEC title game, I was really, really impressed by how they looked. Their offense looked solid. Their pass rush looked elite. And you also factor in, like, Ole Miss's quarterback, Chamberlain. I think he's solid. But at the end of the day, he's a D2 transfer. And Georgia's got pro dudes on the other side of the ball. And, yeah, is there a world that they could kind of shake some shit up and go there and potentially fuck around and maybe knock Georgia off? I don't think it's impossible by any means. I mean, Ole Miss did go into Athens, and I believe they only lost like 31-27. Like, it was a really good game. But you also had Lane Kiffin at that time. You also had a lot more things intact. But there's also another side of the argument where I think Ole Miss's locker room has kind of publicly come out and like, hey, we're going to rally around this. We're facing adversity. Our coach is gone. We're in the playoff. Like, fuck everybody. We're going to come together and we're going to get this done. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen, but I don't think I would be completely shocked. I don't think it's impossible, but I just feel more comfortable probably putting my money on Georgia minus 6.5. I do think that I would probably take the over here. They went over the last time that they played. It was in Georgia, and now you're at a neutral site, so you don't have as much of the crowd factor to factor in with. I still think Ole Miss has a solid offense. They're going to be able to move the ball. I think they'll be able to put some points on the board. So give me Georgia minus 6.5 in the over.
Agree on the over. I think this game's yep. I'm going there.
See, I was wanting somebody to say this. I was kind of wanting to take Ole Miss too.
Yeah,
I just couldn't get myself to do it. So talk me through it.
Yeah. And the thing is I'm not just doing it because of the, I'm not doing the gambler's fallacy of going against the grain on this one. I do see the vision on Ole Miss, and I think it starts kind of how they did it in the first game. And I think it's another person that isn't, like, for how good they've been, is not being talked about near enough. And that's Lacey, running back from Ole Miss. Yeah. I think he is for being as much of a stud as he is, he's the clear X factor in this game. And the thing is what he does too is he opens it up for Chambliss. And I think Chambliss, I mean, we can say he's not, whatever, but I think, at the end of the day, it's college football, and he processes pretty well. I don't think he has any like above average traits, but I think I think his mind might be one of them. Like, he doesn't really make mistakes. And I think kind of in an offense that's this explosive, I think kind of just making the right play and letting the playmakers kind of go from there. I mean, that's kind of what they've been doing all year. And I haven't really fallen in love with this Ole Miss team. I think a part of me kind of buys the like Lane Kiffin's gone, like a little bit of the chip on your shoulder from that. Like I'm not seeing a lack of focus level here. Like if we're looking like game by game what this team's done, like I mean they poured on teams. They went to Oklahoma and won. They like in a weird game, the last game of the year with Lane with like in his situation at Mississippi State, that'd been a scrappy team. They beat them by 20. Like some scrappy teams, other teams had trouble with. They, beat Florida by, 10, which is a team that I feel like they lost to the year before and struggled in a similar fashion. Like I think this team's just kind of similar to last year, but maybe it has a better mindset. And I mean, they've had some like weird close games too, but to me, like in the big games this year, this team has showed out, especially on the offensive side of the field. And I think it's going to be a track meet. And to me, like they were up for the most part in that Georgia game. They kind of pissed that one away. Like, and Georgia's defense is what we were kind of talking about. Of like that's why that Alabama game went the way it did. And so, like looking back, like if we're just looking back at the first time these teams met, Georgia had to score 17-0 in the fourth quarter to end up winning.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. I don't know where I got 31-27 from. I feel like I heard that somewhere else. That is completely wrong. It was I knew that. Yeah,
I remember watching this one. I bet on Georgia in this one, and I'm pretty sure the spread was the same.
Ole Miss was up, and take in for granted this is in Athens, Georgia, too. Playing at a neutral site changes a lot of things, too. Athens is not an easy place to go in and play. But Ole Miss was up 35-26 with 4 minutes left in the third, and Georgia didn't take the lead until 7.5 minutes left in the game. And I'm pretty sure so Georgia started up 3-0, then made it 7-3, 10-7 with basically at the start of the second quarter. And from basically the second quarter on until 7.5 minutes left, Ole Miss was winning.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that over's a lock.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's going to be on it, so I think it's going to be one of those you probably should bet the number now. I think unless we get some sharps on the under because everybody's going to be on the over, that'd be the only way you could see it going down. But I mean, it could just be the fucking rat bait, but I mean, this feels like it's going to be identical. I was saying how much I love the Oregon Texas Tech game. This one is closer and closer to that game the more I think about it. I think this game's going to be awesome. I kind of want to take Ole Miss for the upset. I think Georgia kind of is going to get this one done, maybe late field goal. But as spreads go, I think 6.5 feels like an incredible amount of points for a game that went down to the wire. And I mean, Georgia, as much as I'm not trying to act like Georgia's scoring 17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter shouldn't mean anything to this, but I mean, kind of just shows that the moment was a little too big for Ole Miss. They're on the road, like it was a tough environment. They won't have the road environment like you were saying. They have that, chip on their shoulder, not just from Lane, but they're playing a team that they should have beaten on the road this year. Like, I think all the factors for that, they're going to be dialed in. I think this game is going to be awesome as well, and I think it's going to be a lot like the first one. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I think Ole Miss keeps it close. I really want to take a money line. I'm not sure if we'll get there. I still kind of lean Georgia to win, just because they've been clutch in a lot of these moments. But yeah, I think this game's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be electric. So to me, give me Ole Miss with the points and give me the over.
Love it. Let's put together a can't miss parlay for everybody. Take one pick from each game that we like the most. Ohio State, Indiana. I think we both agree probably Ohio State.
Well, I thought I think you did I forget what the phrase is called. You're doing both at the same time. I think the first two is Ohio State spread, Indiana spread.
Yep. And then what did I say?
You said an Ohio State Indiana game. I think I like Ohio State.
Yeah, no. Ohio State fucking Miami game. And then the Oregon Texas Tech game.
This one's the hardest one, I think.
Over?
Because the problem is I mean, I think it's close. So, and I like the over, but I could see the under just as easy. Like I'm not in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one we just got to go Oregon money line.
Oregon money line, love it.
Because I think we were both on that, and I think we're gonna get there. I think Texas Tech is going to prove that they're worthy of, the spot they're in. They kind of carried the Big 12's water this year. Not a lot of people talk about their only loss came when their starter was out against an Arizona State team that was really good still. It was just with a injured Levitt, or else we may be having 2 Big 12 teams in this year. But beside the point, I think Oregon money line might be the play there.
Yeah, I like that as well. And then how about that last one? I'll let you pick which one you like the best. You like Ole Miss plus 6.5, or you feel better about the over?
I think we keep it simple there. I think it's the over.
Yep.
As much as I think I have talked myself into really liking Ole Miss, I think the old over is just something like it's the squarest pick of probably the entire slate because everybody's thinking the same thing. But it's this way in gambling. Sometimes the squarest pick is the one that happens.
Sometimes it just goes that way. That's why they call it gambling. So for our can't miss parlay, Ohio State minus 9.5, Oregon money line, Indiana minus 7, and the Georgia Ole Miss over. Love it. I don't know what the odds will be on that. I don't know. Probably something like 8-1, maybe.
Yeah, maybe get a 10-1. It depends on what all the actual odds become on it, but that Oregon money line will probably bring it down a tad.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some awesome games, obviously, Wednesday and then all day Thursday. Cannot wait. Got just a couple more days. Before we get out of here, are there any other good bowl games that are coming up? Obviously, you got the other New Year's Six bowls. You got like Michigan and Texas. What's the other one?
Vandy, Iowa is
Iowa. Yep.
Those are two of the New Year's Eve games. As a sneaky one, I think Tennessee, Illinois is going to be good. I was going to say as a parting word, I love Illinois tomorrow. But yeah, I mean USC TCU would have been interesting. I think TCU's quarterback is now transferring, so fun college football. But yeah, I think some of these games are going to be interesting, but at the end of the day, I mean, nothing's going to compare to this playoff slate.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Well, I mean, tomorrow kind of starts off. There's some fun games. A couple of them you just referenced. Coastal and La Tech play at 2. Tennessee and Illinois, like you just played, they play at 5:30, and then USC TCU they play at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, and then New Year's Eve you have games all day long. This looks fucking awesome. So you start off with Iowa, Vandy, Arizona State, Duke, Michigan, Texas, Nebraska, Utah, Miami, and Ohio State to cap it all off. So that's going to be a fun – New Year's Eve is going to be a fun day.
Yeah, I think we got full days of football until Monday because the NFL, I think, is taking over Saturday for their standalone games. And we can joke about the teams that are in them, but I mean, we got some divisions on the line. We got the 1 seed on the line. So I mean, I think we're gonna have a beautiful week of football ahead of us.
Don't forget about the FCS championship on Monday night too.
I have forgotten, but yeah.
Illinois State and Montana State, 7:30 kick on ESPN.
Yeah, I heard I think there's a knee camp boy on Illinois State. Not sure if you're hip.
Oh yeah, he's a coach, right?
I think one of his boys is on I think one might have won like defense